You have no idea. You're gonna get me categorically canceled if I were to answer this correctly. I choose violence and drama today, so let's go. I will tell you a backstory about myself, and I promise it's all it related, and then I'm gonna tell you how to differentiate between the two. So in 2012, some sequence of events that happened to me that got me to be extremely depressed and pretty much self-exited the world. I was days away from becoming jobless, homeless, and in giant debt. And the kind of depression I was in wasn't that I didn't have drive or I'm not an optimistic person and I'm like dumb or whatever, but I literally wake up ready to fight, and I felt like nothing was on my side, meaning I needed a breakthrough. I need something to crack through from my hard effort, and nothing was working my way. Going to therapy seems like a privilege, but it will get me into further debt, and that was not an option. So I fell into a feng shui ditch. I personally didn't study Vastu all so much, but I've actually studied multiple different styles of feng shui. The thing I'm about to say is gonna piss off people in the feng shui world and also in the Vastu world. Vastu is an Indian version of feng shui. They're essentially very similar studies, but their perception on certain things, some things they agree on, and then they kind of divulge in different area. One is how they use the compass, meaning when you have a studio apartment versus like a 4 or 5 bedroom double decker, do you only apply one compass point onto that reading? And if so, what would be the probability mathematically to be accurate for a small space versus a large space? Only one compass point. Error rate is going to be high. The second thing is for Vastu and Feng Shui, like some category of Feng Shui, the perception of time, whether or not they are applied, are very different. Vastu has a consistent perception of time, meaning north is always this, south is always this, and it never changes. But one category of Feng Shui actually break down time in correlation to the planets near us, but not according to sun. So it's like, where do you perceive time and how do you use the compass? I'll give you an example, and when you perceive time correctly, eastern facing homes right now will have the following symptoms if your home is executed incorrectly. The people inside are fiery, meaning they get easily triggered, always angry, people always fighting about stuff, and it's almost like their elastic band is broken. The side symptoms also include cardiovascular problems, depression like isolation, being bullied, stinky feet, hand and feet problem, and potentially likelihood of always getting into accidents. I've seen people in car crashes, homicide. So it's not something I say lightly. And that's why if you go into the testimonial section on my site, I solve a lot of that complex problems with a timestamp. So you could see if predicted correctly, how fast can they resolve? And why do I mention this first story in the beginning? Because I've tried all of them physically. I am the animal testing. Like if I didn't do this correctly, I am the first person going to a mental institution. You know what I mean? That's the major difference.